Pat, what have you seen from Trevor Lawrence this year, especially of late?
He's been picking it up a lot. These past few games, they scoring about like 30 points per game or some crazy stat like that. So he's been playing good ball so far. So,
how much has Jacoby coming in there kind of expanded their offense?
It expanded a lot. Obviously, he's moving in pivotal roles, important positions around the field. I think he's leading the team in targets right now as of late. So, obviously, it's a good pickup for him.
Then with Brandon going down, I guess how nice is it to have a guy like PJ who's played so much step in?
It's good. We always talk about next man up, but also that experience and depth help us a lot. I mean, PJ, he's a guy that's, been playing some great ball for us, over the past couple of years. So it's something that's not new to him. He knows what it's like to be in this position and in his role. So, I'm excited for him, on his next opportunity.
Some of the players have been saying this is almost like a playoff game, like the Green Bay game was against Jacksonville, still a shot at the #1 seed and all that. Would you kind of characterize it like this?
Yeah, I could definitely attest to that. Even, they're a conference opponent, so it seemed like a lot is at stake so early. But I think eventually we're going to see him, once we get to the playoffs and stuff like that. So it's definitely feel like that type of atmosphere for sure.
When you look, you guys have had a good red zone defense for a while now, but taking it to another level this year, kind of by far the best rate in the league. What do you attribute to just how much success you guys are having inside the 20 there?
Yeah, they could get down there. Our mindset is, not allowing them to score, obviously. And when they get down there, we make it as tough as possible for them. So I think what we do a great job down there is everybody's communicating collectively. Everybody knows their job and assignments. We just play hard-nosed football down there. We really protect, that area of the field. We really talk about not allowing the opponents to get in that end zone. And we take that, we hold ourselves up to that standard. So
to have as many defensive backs as you guys do that are versatile and can kind of line up in different spots that VJ can use, how much do you attribute that as part of it as well?
It definitely helps a lot because we could, mix in a couple of packages, different looks. The offense gives us a certain personnel. We could have just, the same amount of defensive backs as they have, receivers or tight ends, in their personnel. So it allows us to be open. With a lot of guys in the back end that's been, playing great football for us.
But how do you think, Ronnie's gotten some really soft DPI calls like on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think he's handled it? Because he really seems like he's cleaned up, that penchant for penalties and was one of the best, pass defense guys in the league. How do you think he's handled it?
Yeah, I think those calls are pretty ticky-tacky. I just think there's examples across the league where other guys are doing the exact same thing and they don't get called for it. But at the end of the day, he holds his head high. He moves on to the next play. That's a great thing about him, man. He has a short-term memory. He looks forward to the next play because, your best play is your next opportunity, I believe. And, that's his mindset. And obviously ball don't lie because he capitalized and got a pick off of that. So.
Now, was that pick the best pick that you've had in your career? Where does that rank?
Definitely top for sure. I think I just went all out for that one. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't have pretty much, interceptions like that in the past, but I definitely say that was probably my most cerebral interception for sure. So.
Well, then is your phone blowing up with people that maybe don't text you all the time, to react to it?
Yeah, they reacted to it. Obviously I've seen it, all across the highlights and stuff. But, obviously when you're in the game, you don't realize, what you did because you're in the moment. Then you watch on the highlight, you're like, man, I didn't know I had that in me. But, I had to make a play. So definitely was my favorite one for sure.
Pat, you said Riley forgets, easily, but as a leader on this team, do you talk to him or some of those other guys that have those types of things happen to him and help him get past it, or is it just something that's in him already?
It's something that's in him. Even though you talk to him, he's very sharp, very detailed oriented. He moves on so quickly. and he snaps out of it because he just plays football. At a high level, and those calls you can't really control. But at the end of the day, you can control your next play, and that's what he thinks of. So he definitely has a positive type of mindset going into it, moving forward. So that's the best thing you could have as a cornerback, and that's what he has. So
what helps you?
Last question.
What helps you move on? I mean, as good as you are, every once in a while you're going to get beat.
Yeah.
How do you just erase that from here?
Shoot, you don't have no choice, or you're gonna get beat again. So, that's just the name of the game, man. I believe football is 80% mental and 20% physical. A lot of the mental aspect that people don't take account plays a big factor towards football. So, just to wash that out and go on to the next play is pretty good. So I think that's what he does well, and he's just playing at a high level. So.